Okay, check, check, check. Checkity, check, check, check. Let's see about that. Hi, hello, hello, and hi. Welcome to the third episode of the Food Robbers podcast. That, to me, is exciting. It's just it's a small thing. I tell myself I'm going to do this, and keeping up with that is very important to me, to managing my flow and staying on the path that I've decided this company should be going in. So if you're new to listening, Food Robbers is a platform for local food and beverage promotions as a way to get feet in those doors of the establishments that mean the most to me. So when we launch, you'll be able to go on the Food Robbers website, type in your location, and find all of the fun happy hours, Taco Tuesdays, in addition to Food Robber specific promotions that will get you a little something more out of your experience and involvement with these food and beverage establishments. Today is a day that I'm going to be discussing. I've discussed my relationship with the food and beverage industry. I've had an interview with John Sutcliffe, who owns Sutcliffe Vineyards in McConnell Canyon. And today I'm going to be discussing my relationship with this business specifically. And with everything, obviously there's more involved to it than just running a company or finding some way to make money, because this business is more than that to me. This business is a tie of all of my passions, and every day I'm excited that I get to do this, and I really do mean that. I'm pushing myself to do this podcast. I'm currently traveling at this moment. I am in St. Joseph, Missouri, and at first I thought, well, I could push it back, but I'm being very strict with myself. And although the audio might not be fantastic, and in order to avoid extra white noise, I am currently sitting in a car in a museum parking lot where it is so very humid, but I'm not going to run the car with the AC in order to ensure that the audio is at least of good quality, not amazing or great, certainly hopefully not poor, but usable. So when it comes to why I have created this business, I had a amazing job as a director at an art center in Durango, Colorado, where the changes that were happening there and the things that I were a part of were amazing. And I left a secure salary job when COVID hit because I had to ask myself some internal questions, like I've been doing, of what I want out of life. And I've always imagined that I'd have a career or a business that would give me the opportunities to travel and to eat. And I think that might be a consensus. I don't, I can't say I haven't met anybody that doesn't want that, but there's a good chance that a lot of us want something that gives us that. And I'm at a point where I cannot accept anything else. I cannot accept the utmost of myself and what I want out of my experience here, because I have the will, I have the power, I have the creativity to do all of these things that I want, and I can't allow my shortcomings or my perceived shortcomings to hinder, hold me back, sabotage what I really want and what I know that I can have. And so this creation of Food Robbers is centered around that. Yeah. What have been listening to You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar by David Sandler. And in the book, he mentions, because the reason why I'm reading it is I'm really good at things in person, selling myself and my business, and that's because a lot of the time I relate specifically to the roles that I'm in. I just submitted an application to the Alchemist Accelerator program because this business is moving in a direction where something like that would be beneficial. And in it, they asked me to talk about myself, talk about the team. Right now, I'm a one-man band, looking to change that eventually. But I mentioned in that very brief short video, I immediately wanted to talk about the things that I was doing, the business that I was creating, the businesses that I've created before, the industry that I've been in, because I relate myself a lot to the roles that I take on, as many of us do. The thing is many of us do it without realizing what we're doing. And when these roles fail or something happens directly to it, we relate those roles with our self-awareness, with our perception of ourself. We take these roles and identify specifically with them. So when they don't go the way that we desire them to go, we immediately take it, and it changes the way we feel about ourselves. And there's the opposite of that, is when our roles are going really wonderful, we're going really wonderful too. And so I'm at this point where these roles are our ego. And you might be coming to this for food and beverage information. But the truth is there's so much more to the businesses that we create, that we participate in. They're not just what we do, they're in relation to who we are. And when it comes to my company and my business as a whole, I want to remain authentic. You can't see, I'm really glad you can't see me making this like formation with my hand as I'm talking. Eventually I'll tell you the joke about the Italian. So I have begun reading this book because I'm really good at selling things in person, and there's things that I want to acquire, certain skills that I want to acquire. So I've begun reading You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar, which was recommended to me by my SBDC coach. Colorado has a program for startup businesses or new businesses or old businesses. They offer counseling free of charge, and it's an amazing program to be a part of. I'm so thankful for it every single day, that it's a resource that I didn't know was out there. And when it was recommended to me, I felt a huge sense of relief. So my SBDC coach, she mentioned this book to me, and I ran with it. And in it, it talks about our roles and our identity. And this is a practice that I've been putting myself into as often as I can, because I think it's really important to ourselves, our relationship with ourselves. And as an entrepreneur, as somebody starting out at your own business, you really start to figure out who you are, how you're operating, how you think about yourself, because now it's not just how you think about yourself, but it's this extension of you. These businesses that we create are extensions of ourselves. And as we feel comfortable bringing new people in, we have to go through these steps, because if we don't, if we don't change certain things about us or recognize certain things about us, our businesses won't succeed. And a lot of the times it won't succeed because we have a false perception of ourselves. And this is the programming that we come across at an early age. So when you become an entrepreneur, you really realize some of these things that you've taken on that aren't actually true about yourself. And getting back to the book itself, it asks you to put yourself on an island. All of a sudden, you wind up on an island and it's just you. You don't have any roles to fulfill. There's nobody with you, nothing to do, all of your needs are perfectly met. And you have to ask yourself, the question is, who am I? If I'm not these roles and I'm alone and I have no needs to fulfill, who am I? That's a question that is really difficult to answer. Because if I'm not a mom, if I'm not a business owner, if I am not a happy-go-lucky person that shares their personality with strangers on the sidewalk, who am I? And that exercise shows us this principle that we build ourselves around, which is we relate who we are with the roles that we are playing. So when it comes to owning a business, you're going to be taking on a bunch of different roles. And in order to really succeed in these roles is you have to separate yourself from them and not become them. And that's difficult. I know personally how difficult that is to do. I didn't realize this would be some form of a coaching session. I wanted to talk about why I've created my business. We'll get to it. I'd like these podcasts to be about 30 minutes. So we're halfway through right now. I'm still boggled, and I can't really say that I know how to answer that question. So what I'm focusing on this point is putting more value on my identity, if you want to use that word, or this spark or light inside of me, putting more value on that instead of this external perception of who I am and what I'm doing. And the more that we can do that, build that up, the more roles we can actually fulfill and take on, because if those roles fail, we're not directly related to it and we're not going to have it alter the perception of how we feel about ourselves, meaning that we'll have more courage to take on newer things that are maybe outside of our previous values or virtues, the things that we have taken on as our roles and identified with. So finding a way to separate those two things has been really important in the formation of this business, because when COVID happened, I had to take huge leaps. It began with a 30-day cleanse for myself. And in that 30-day cleanse, a lot of things fell off and a lot of things became very clear. I had a direction in which I knew to go. I also had conviction in that direction. I knew that I wanted to start this business. It's been an idea for a while. Before COVID happened, I had revelations about how this business would operate, who it would benefit, which is the local food and beverage industry, and more details on how exactly I was going to do that. Then when everything happened and I was forced to look at myself, what I was doing, why I was doing it, I had the ability to answer these questions and know that I was making the right decision for myself and the right decision for my future and that making these decisions was going to benefit not just myself, that these things would benefit more outside of me. And now I feel, I don't want to use the word obligated, because that implies that I have to do any of this. And I don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything. This is simply something I want to do. And I know without a doubt that it's good and it's right. That more will come out of this than I have previously allowed myself to accept. So that's really cool. And it's really scary and nerve-wracking. It's amazing all the way around. So I'm excited. I mean, every day I wake up and there's new things to learn. I know that becoming a CEO of a new company, that a part of this process, and that's what's so exciting. I had to change a lot because some things weren't happening as quickly as I imagined that they would be. Then I switched that perception when I realized that getting from point A to point B, those steps that I have to take, those are what's really exciting in this. And if I'm trying to rush to point B, I'm not going to enjoy waking up every day, because I'm going to have this vantage point mindset where I'm always trying to get to the top of the hill to see a little bit further. That's something that I've experienced in my life, where I always want to make it somewhere quicker. Or I used to always want to make it somewhere quicker. I am now at a point where, after looking at myself and why I've always wanted or sought after that look at the mirador, which is one of my favorite words in Spanish. Why I was always seeking that was because I didn't see the value in what I'm doing in this moment. So by changing that, and by realizing that what about starting a new company that's going to be very big, the exciting parts about it I'm in right now. So I'm going to enjoy this company in its infancy, so that I can just as much enjoy it once it becomes something bigger. It doesn't mean that I don't have self-doubts that I need to work through with this. These self-doubts, though, are really related to failures that I've had in the past, because I've put so much value and identity on my previous roles. So that's that's where I'm at in all of this. I am warm in a hot car doing a podcast for my new business, and that's really freaking cool. um, Food Robbers to me is a culmination, a smorgasbord of these developments that I've gone through. These developments were accelerated in the last 3.5 years, 3.5, 4 years now, where I'm not at a point in my life where I can accept mediocrity. Not to say that the things that I've done in my life were mediocre. I've had the privilege and the will and determination to do a lot of amazing things, and I'm going to continue doing a lot of amazing things, and not use outside circumstances as hindrances, whatever, to my progression. Instead, we have the ability to change our mindset and use these outside circumstances as stepping stones. whatever way that is, because the ability, and I'm realizing this every single day, my ability to pivot in my business, in my life, is what's adding a lot of value and joy. Because being stuck on the same repetitive path, it creates a lot of heartache. It makes us have to do things harder, longer, without the same rewards that we would receive if we managed to change our position a little bit, move around. Each day that I'm able to do that and learn that, I'm realizing why I've decided to do this. Plus, it's really freaking cool. When I think about what the consumer experiences on their end, I know that I've made the right decision. I mean, how I've always wanted that, to find that there's a gap, that there's not something out there quite like this. It feels absurd in a way. I know that it's not, and I know that the reason why there's that gap is because it's meant for me to fill it. And having the opportunity to provide value both to the consumer and these business owners that I care about so much, I know that I'm making the right decision every day. Yeah, I'm making the right decision every day. Plus, I have really awesome interviews that are coming up, you'll hear about very soon, of people that inspire me every day, people that have shaped my life or are shaping the culture that I advocate for, which is the local food and beverage industry. Is a difficult, for those of you who only know the front end side of it, the experiential side of eating food, going out to a restaurant or going and getting a coffee. If that's all that you know about the food and beverage industry, that's okay. I'm hoping to provide more information about that backside of it. What is actually going on behind these doors? Because I really mean it when I say it. It's not something that you do unless you're passionate about it. Because there's so many factors that are involved with the food industry that go unnoticed. So finding some bridge top to bottom, inside and out, giving the consumers, the everyday people, which is usually us, giving more insight into this field will give more value to these experiences. We'll have more of an idea of how this got here, all of the work, the decision making, the margins, the people, the heart, the soul that is directly related to that plate of food sitting in front of you, the families. It's amazing to see it in action, to be a part of it. So I'm hoping that I can bring that to people, and also by encouraging consumers to go to these locations, by offering them a centralized platform of promotions, whether that's happy hours or, I'm going to keep saying it, it's kind of my mantra, but it really gets people to understand what types of things will be on the website platform. It'll be an app. I promise you, it'll be an app. But these happy hours and Taco Tuesdays, all of these things that all of these businesses run in general, and having a place for them to advertise these, promote these to the public, and giving the public an easy way to interact with them. That's cool. That's easy. We want things that are easy. So I'm hoping that this. I know there's not a lot of hoping that's going on in this. I know this will fill a lot of gaps. So I'm a little bit shorter than my usual time. I am it's warm. It is very warm and humid here in Missouri today. I'll be going home sometime next week where I'll be recording a few more interviews and just keep the train rolling. I love doing this. I have always really enjoyed having platforms where I can be myself and not hide behind these ideas of what I should be or what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that's a lot of the time what social media is, where these big companies come out and there's no personal aspect to them. Not to say that isn't the way that works for them, but what works for me is being here and being true to myself, because that's what I want to see more out of the world. All right, we're gonna go with it. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, anyway. Do you even like this sign off? Is it too much? Is it somebody? Is it too Dr. Seussy? I like it. I think it's fun. Maybe a little ridiculous. I'll say it again, just to validate that. Anywho, anyhow, any what, any freaking way. I do really hope you all have a wonderful day, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. This is Tiffany Jocko, the CEO and founder of Food Robbers. You can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, at Food Robbers. You can email me, foodrobbers@gmail.com. Stay up to date on my Instagram with the upcoming podcasts, the upcoming interviews that I'll be doing, when the launching of Food Robbers will be, as well as interact with me personally. That's really the main ways. I think I enjoy Instagram the most. You'll be able to see the website very soon, the beta version of it, at foodrobbers.com. My personal, gosh, you tired of me just dropping links? No. Personally, you can find my Instagram at Tiffany Jocko. Yeah, that is very French, which means the T is silent. A lot of people just prefer to call me Tiffany Jacket, Tiffany Jacot. I really don't care, as long as you don't call me Shirley. Shirley, you can't be serious. No, I am. I am very serious. Don't call me Shirley. If you ever get tired of the airplane references, I cannot promise that those will stop anytime soon. They're kind of my shtick. Okay, 30 minutes is up. You'll hear from me very shortly. I will create some schedule that is conducive to my upcoming interviews and podcasts as a whole. Okay, bye-bye.